Sandra County Democrats for having us today. This is a beautiful event, and driving up here, it just really reminded me why I'm doing this and gave me the motivation to continue because we're looking at all the beautiful land that we have at stake. My name is Daniel Carlino. I'm running for the Public Service Commission in our district. And the reason that I'm running is to stop climate change. This is the position, the PSC has the biggest political influence on how we're gonna stop our greenhouse gas emissions and where we're gonna move forward with environmental issues for our state. So for the past few years, I've been working on stopping climate change from many different aspects. I helped pass a clean, 100% clean energy resolution for Missoula County by writing and passing a resolution through government and then presenting that to our city council and working with partner groups in town to get that 100% clean electricity resolution passed for Missoula, which was the first county to do that for our state. That's a huge step in the right direction, and now Bozeman and Helena are going to follow that lead and continue this push for clean energy. So the first time I ever talked to the Public Service Commission in person was about a year and a half ago now. They were making their plan, their 20-year energy plan for our state, and they redo this plan every 2 years. And so they gave an hour for public comment. So we took a bus full of people that I know from other environmental groups in Missoula, and we filled up the entire courtroom in Helena to talk to the PSC about what we want to see for our energy grid. So one at a time, we came up in front of the PSC commenting for 100% clean energy transition. One at a time, we plead our case, whether it was about climate change, whether it was about economics, which is now in favor of clean energy as well, and they were really reluctant to listen. So I went home, and then I realized that all 5 members of the PSC, all Republicans, and all 5 have been influenced by the fossil fuel industry in their campaign financing, and I see that as an issue. And then they were reluctant to listen because this 20-year energy plan just was released about 2 weeks ago, the final draft for Northwestern Energy, which is 90% of our state's energy. And they're in their plan, they're moving, Colstrip is gonna close within a decade, and we all have to accept that and work with those workers to make sure that they have a just transition. But Northwestern Energy's plan is moving almost all of that coal power energy to natural gas power energy. And they even show their greenhouse gas emissions on this plan, and their emissions are not set to go down at all. In 20 years, these emissions are going to be the same, and we're going to be in the same exact scenario, and the current Public Service Commission is allowing this to happen. Every step of the way, they're allowing Northwestern Energy to continue this trend. So we need people to step in and push for clean energy from that aspect and continue this fight so we don't have to be in the same situation 20 years from now. And although energy is the biggest issue for the PSC, they also regulate all the utility monopolies, so waste management, railroad, telecommunications, water, and along with energy. So my plan is for our waste management, I'll start there. We need compost and recycling programs accessible for all of our state. In Ravalli County, right now they're closing down the last recycling place that's available by the end of the year. And we need to work with Public Services, and we need a PSC that can work with the legislature as well to make sure that we have better recycling and compost programs for our state. The PSC, thanks. And we're going to do that by lowering the recycling compost rates below trash rates to make sure that more people are incentivized to recycle and compost, leading to cleaner land and cleaner water for future generations. So how many of us have taken the train in Montana before? I know we used to have passenger rail here, really accessible back in the day, but now we have to drive up to Whitefish. And PSC with the railroad, we mostly focus on safe and accessible rail for just rail safety. But I'm going to be pushing for passenger rail, bringing that back to Montana as much as possible, and working with our legislatures to pass bills to make sure that happens. that's the only way that we're going to be able to get people across this state without sustainably without burning fossil fuels. So that's one of my top priorities. Also, with the utility monopolies, that they have left rural and indigenous communities behind in the past with their decisions. For example, with our telephone and internet service, it costs them similar amounts to have those programs available in urban areas as it does in rural areas. So over 120,000 Montanans still don't have cell phone service at their homes today, and the Wi-Fi and internet service is the most expensive in our country than anywhere else in any other industrialized nation. And that's something that can be addressed with the PSC as well. I believe in fair representation for rural and indigenous communities, and we have a lot of ground to work towards to catch up to having fair representation. So that's going to be another one of my top priorities. And so there's 3 out of the 5 seats available for the PSC to be switched. So we could possibly switch over the whole board. Right now, I've talked with Tom Woods, who's running in the Bozeman district for PSC, and he has similar plans as I do. So hopefully we can have some allies on there to get things done as fast as possible. But either way, the PSC gets to talk in front of the legislature and really advocate for the things that we need. And so the way that we're going to get this done is that I'm canvassing every day. We're out talking to folks as much as possible and spreading this message of the importance of the PSC. This is a race that's often left behind. Another thing is that Northwestern Energy, ever since they've taken over, they've also increased our rates every year, and sometimes justified and sometimes not. And right now I'm working on saving Montanans money by signing people up for the low-income heating assistance program through Northwestern Energy. And this is a program that will help everybody have the energy that they need for the winter. So I would be happy to talk with anyone about signing more people up for that. And there's also links on my website for that as well. And besides the utility monopolies, there is one thing that has also been really lost from the PSC, and that is transparency, and that is accountability. I am available. I have my cell phone number I give out on every walk card at every door. I have office hours every week, and that's going to continue throughout my time on the PSC as well. We'll have office hours. We'll be traveling around, talking to people, and showing up. We need to show up and hear from Montanans, from the rural communities, from the urban communities, from the tribal communities, and bring their voice back into the PSC because it has been lost. These seats have been captured by the oil and gas industry for way too long, and we are on a path to be in the same situation as we are now with climate change 20 years down the road. That is the plan that is currently in place. And we need drastic change in the PSC. We need someone who's not going to work with Republican interests, and we need someone who's going to push for a fast transition to justice for Montanans with our utilities. So I please ask everybody to think about this race. This affects all of our lives on a daily basis, and it's a race that doesn't get much attention at all. I really encourage everyone to please just, if you sign up for my email list if you'd like, but really check out my website, look at my issues, and see where I stand. And it is the boldest climate comprehensive plan out of any PSC candidate, and it is something that I believe in, that I'm passionate about. I'm a student, I'm a farmer, but most of all, I'm someone who's going to stop climate change. That is what I do. That is what I'm going to continue to do. And I really would love to get some volunteers in Sanders County. I'll be back for as many events as I possibly can here. But I really need people power to help keep this campaign running. Right now, I am the front runner on all sides for this race. We've raised the most money, we've talked to the most people, and we're just going to keep that momentum going. So please sign up and help me do this thing. Thank you.